Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Dr. Jeff C. May as always, and welcome to another episode of Doctor's Orders, advice you should actually take. And in this episode, at the time of the recording, it is post-election, post the elections for governors, for school boards, judges, like all those different aspects of life in government. And so we're coming into kind of my morning thoughts post-election, and also some of the things to think about moving forward. Because in my office, we get a lot of mixed emotions when, I think in general in politics. Okay, so politics has become such a dividing thing. I don't remember ever talking much politics growing up. I do remember one time though, I had a cousin who, I remember they were talking to my grandfather, and there was a really heated discussion, and I was like, what on earth? Like, it was at a family Christmas, and I remember looking over and not having a clue who they were talking about, what they were talking about, but looking back on it now, I realized it was a discussion / full-on argument. And I say argument just because afterwards I know my grandfather didn't want to talk to this cousin of mine for a long time, and I was like, man, that really sucks that whatever they were talking about, clearly I was clueless, would have that much effect on the relationship. And yet here we are, flash forward, where it's happening every single hour of the day for sure. And regardless of that, so I'm grateful for a country that we get to vote in. I'm grateful for a country that we have a voice. I'm grateful for a country that there are so many choices that do not revolve around someone else making them for me. And that's the turn where we're going to go into this, because this morning I even did a Facebook Live over on the Advantage Health Center page. That's the office that I run and own. I was talking about the vote you should cast. And so the actual vote you should cast being for you. Have you cast your own ballot for you? And what I was getting at is because in life there's so many, like the elephant in the room still is lifestyle choices. No matter in healthcare, no matter coming out of COVID, 2 years ago, now at the time of this recording, coming out of that. Coming out of the jabs, the mandates, people losing their jobs, like all of the stuff that we've been through when it comes to centering in around your health. You're a grandma killer, you're a grandpa killer. They shouldn't have done this in the nursing homes. No matter what side of it is, wear a mask or you're going to kill somebody. I'm doing this for you. All of this stuff. I'm just trying to go through these in my head. All of this stuff still remains the elephant in the room, is that the lifestyle choice of an individual. And that just doesn't get talked about. It's not sexy. It's not popular. You can't run a campaign on it. Pharmaceutical companies definitely don't want to talk about it. All of these aspects of health that are sitting in your control, that there needs to be no election. There needs to be no vote cast for it. There just needs to be action on your part. And so really the title of this podcast could be called Do Something. It could be called Do Something. And I don't know what I'm going to title it as I'm recording this live, but the thing that just has rung, whatever the context of it is, inside of my head, I heard it on Sunday from my pastor. I'm going to rephrase it just a touch, but essentially you come into this world looking like your parents, and you're going to leave looking like your choices. And to me, that was, have you guys ever had those like moments where someone says something and it goes right through almost every exterior layer of you and right to your soul, right to your heart, right to whatever you want to call it. Sometimes right where it'll hit you right where the good Lord splits you, right in your ass. Like that's a kick in the ass sometimes with these statements. And for me, that was one of those statements where I sat there and I was like, holy, like that's it. Like you come into this world looking like your parents, but you're going to leave looking like your choices, because we've built the entire Advantage Health Center. We've built my entire career on lifestyle choice. The fact of the matter is that 80% of people die from an accumulation of poor lifestyle choices that aren't in their favor, choices that are a vote for somebody else. Like when you go, and you're constantly taking a daily medication, most of the time, when the average American is on 12 to 14 different medications, that you look at, like that's a vote for the pharmaceutical company. Nobody wants to put more money in the pharmaceutical company. And I'm not saying all medications aren't necessary. I'm saying what the fact of the matter is, if you're on a daily medication to survive, either something is radically wrong or there is an accumulation of lifestyle choices on the way that has put your back against the wall. And if that's the case, my encouragement would be for you to start making choices that are going to get you away from that wall, to move forward. We've got a system and protocol in our office where I've seen multiple people reverse type 2 diabetes. And that's something where they don't talk about. Right now with neuropathy, the best thing that they say is just live with it. And we've even witnessed already last week where a gentleman had the bottom of one of his toes that was starting to die. It was necrotic. It was black tissue, and now it's not. And now it's healing. And so when you get to witness healing face to face with people, and you get to see what the medical community would call healing miracles, it doesn't take very long for you to get some disdain, for you to get kind of a bias when it comes to how a majority of whatever you want to call it, the scientific community, the powers that be, you're going to question it. And I think that's a healthy positive thing. So when you look at what you're going to do day to day, where are you casting your vote, so to speak? Like elections come every 2 years, every 4 years for the presidency, and then kind of offset the 2 years. Usually you have the state-run elections, but here's the thing. Every single day, what if you were to go into the day with the mindset that I'm going to vote for myself? I'm going to vote for myself being healthier. I'm going to vote for myself being happier. I'm going to vote for myself being more productive. What would that look like in your life? And there are no days off. Like this whole mentality of like there's going to be a break, forget it. Throw it away, burn it in a dumpster fire, because there are no days off. There's really not. And once you realize there's no finish line when it comes to your health, you can get over the fact that you think you need a finish line, because the finish line is actually death. If you want a finish line to your health, if you want a finish line to the things that actually matter, that means you're dead. So I don't wish that upon anybody prematurely. Hey, God's will, it's up to him. I don't want to play that role. I will tell you though that there is no break. There is no finish line, and that's okay. It's not oh man, I'll never get a day off and then have this depression or this feeling of guilt or shame or like all these things, or I should have, used my time better. All of these things, like it's not to make you feel bad. It's to say, oh, that's the way it is. And once you understand and have clarity on how the game is played, there is rules of the game. And when you abide by the rules of health, that you get health. That the fact is that you're supposed to move your body every day, that you need to drink water, that putting toxics like smoking and drinking, like those are poisons. And so putting those in your body on a regular, consistent basis are going to produce regular and consistent results of being poisoned. Like that's what it is. So there's no clearer way to put it. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's call a spade and say, okay, well, if I'm constantly poisoning my body with sugar, if I'm constantly poisoning my body with alcohol, with nicotine, with smoke, when all those things are happening, you're going to get poisoned tissue. That's a fact. And so you're literally cutting off years off the end of your life. So many times I think, man, if someone were to smoke a cigarette, I wish like there was some way where they could just like drop dead for 2 minutes and then all of a sudden they come back to. And they realize like, oh my gosh, that cigarette killed me for 2 minutes. Instead, what happens is that, someday, somewhere on the end of our life, every poor choice, you're kind of shaving things off. Like, let's be real. Obesity takes 10 years off your life. So living your life in an obese fashion, not getting after it, not figuring out tools and success strategies to actually become healthier. And I realize it's tough. I didn't say it wasn't tough, but that takes 10 years off the end of your life. So think about it. Every time you take a pill, like all of a sudden you drop dead for 6 seconds, because that's going to shave 6 seconds off your life. All of those little things. And so ultimately figuring out where you need to cast your vote every single day is one of the most important, crucial things you can do. And I want to encourage you guys, cast your vote for yourself. All right. Celebrate that, because what happens is that health has a really, really cool way of like, when you make positive decisions, it helps like positively affect all the other areas of your life. So some people call it your faith, your family, your fitness, your finances. Those things are going to go up. Name a scenario where you being healthier doesn't help you. At the end of the day, being healthier truly helps make you happier and more productive. And so many people, if they get this concept, can radically change their life. People that have anxiety, people that have depression, people that are considering ending their life prematurely. Hey, this is a thing over the last 15 years being in practice, nobody teaches you about. I've had multiple patients take their life. And those are tough. Those are really, really hard. And I want to tell you, if someone out there is listening and they find themselves in that situation, just message the office, message someone. Like, I will make sure we get in contact, and let's have a talk. Let's just, for crying out loud, like that is a temporary decision in a moment, right? To, technically you're making a permanent decision over a temporary situation. So you can't come back. So a permanent decision over a temporary situation, I don't wish that on anyone. And so at the end of this, the doctor's orders for this one is to say, where do you need to cast your vote today? If you answer these questions after every single podcast, I give you a question. And if you answer these things, the amazing thing is when you ask better questions, you get better answers. And so what I'm asking you today, your doctor's orders, ask yourself this question, post this podcast. Where do I need to cast my vote today? What area of your life do you just need to do something? Move the needle. What do you need to do? Ask the better question, get the better answers, and then take action. For crying out loud, I'm begging you, take some action on your life. It is worth it. You are important. And those are your doctor's orders.